All right. Hello and welcome to episode 86 of the Rhody Rumble podcast. Today I'm joined by Rhode Island Rams wide receiver Marquis Buchanan. Marquis is a freshman in his second season with the program. Thanks so much for taking the time. How are you today?
No problem. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good, just vibing on this nice little night.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I mean, I'm sure the vibes around the locker room have been good. You were just telling me before we started 2-0 in league play, 3 games into the season, 2-1 overall. Just jumped up to number 17 in stats perform top 25 and number 18 in the coaches poll in the top 25. Rhody's also coming off their first win at Maine since 1998. So like I said, I can imagine, the vibes on campus and just within the locker room are going well. How do you take that motivation and prepare for the next game on Saturday? Top 25 team, number 25 Villanova on the road.
The vibes are great right now. Obviously, we're 2-0, so we're feeling really good about ourselves. The offense has been putting up a lot of points. So on offensively, we're feeling great. And we know the defense, they're gonna keep picking it up. Being ranked for us is just something being there. We can't really focus on that because we'll get distracted. And then going into Villanova on Saturday, like they said the last time they was out there, they got beat like 42-0. Like obviously I wasn't there. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of motivation going into this game to, get back revenge from the last time they was out there.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of teams, especially within the FCS. I mean, New Hampshire, I feel like always has our number. I know we're not facing Delaware this year, but I feel like there's always a battle there. And then, of course, with Maine not beating them on the road. But you talk about the recent loss against Villanova. Obviously, you're preparing to go in there and kind of change the narrative a little bit. 2-0, you're feeling good. So, I mean, you can't have a better start than that. It's been a while since you've beaten an FBS opponent. Thought we would have had the Georgia State one, but came close. So, but yeah, I mean, I want to shift gears a little bit. We'll go back to, this current season, but I just want to shift gears so that fans who are tuning into this can kind of learn a little bit more about you and your background. First, a question that I love to start with, just with all of the guests that I've done this with, which is just what is your why or what motivates you?
My family, obviously, we've had a lot of tough moments growing up. So, I just try to be motivated by them every week and just keep going. My family is sports background, so everyone knows about football, basketball, like they know about most of the sports. So, they motivate me the most to just keep going. And not only them, just myself, just wake up knowing I can do this and get to where I'm trying to be in life. So I just motivate myself, and then my family back home just continues to motivate me every day.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, being a two-sport athlete in high school, and we're going to touch upon that. And then, like you said, coming from a family that is full of athletes, I mean, you must have some competitiveness and you just, driven to succeed growing up in a house like that where, you just want to be the best you can in, whatever sport that you're playing. I can imagine that it was definitely competitive growing up.
Yeah, my mom, she was a all-state basketball player at Central High School, so she was good. And my oldest brother went to Mount Pleasant. He was an all-state basketball player, and then my twin brother was an all-state basketball player. So it was just very competitive to see who's gonna do what in what sport. My brothers played football. My oldest played football 2 seasons at Mount Pleasant, just because he was good at it, and then my twin brother didn't play in high school. So
I got you. And you have a cousin as well who obviously runs track for URI,
yeah,
correct?
yeah, he played football at classical. He did his thing at URI with the track team.
There you
So
go.
it was very competitive in that family.
Yeah, I can imagine just hitting all the sports. I can't imagine what, Thanksgiving dinners like or the holidays, just with all of the talent you got at the table.
Yeah, we try to bring up a lot of championship. Who got the most rings? Who got the most championships? Individual accolades. It gets going.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're going to speak on some of your accolades in high school, kind of moving forward here, but you're originally from Providence, Rhode Island. You attended classical high school. Pretty impressive athletic career. I mentioned you were a two-sport athlete. You played basketball and you were also a football player in classical. You're also the captain or the team captain for both of those teams. Can you just talk about, how, I mean, you kind of talked about it growing up in a house full of athletes, but can you just talk about how your passion for sports and specifically each one of those sports began?
So for basketball, I started playing basketball. I've been playing since I was 8, but I didn't play like recreationally until I was about 10. And I wasn't really that good at first. I was more of like a defensive guy because I was so fast. So I was just running around playing defense. And as I got older, they pushed me to the point guard when I was like 12, 13. And that's where like my leadership role like really grew, being vocal because you gotta be a point guard. So like me, I'm a vocal leader, but I also show you like on the court or field like what I gotta do. So I'm very vocal on the basketball court, even if it comes across wrong, like in the wrong way. I'm very passionate about winning. That's what the sport's about to me. I'm trying to win as many games, many championships as possible. And then football, I started playing when I was 7, and I was instantly the best player on the team just because I was faster and bigger than everybody. So
Yeah.
that automatically made me like a captain. So I always had to lead by example and do the right thing on the field. And then as I got older, I began being more vocal on the football field because they just had me all over the place. So I had to tell everybody where to go, where to be at, what to expect. So just being a leader came naturally for me. It's just something I like. I like leading teams to winning in championships.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a great quality and probably one of the reasons that, this coaching staff and Coach Fleming wanted to bring you in 2 seasons ago. I'm curious, growing up in Rhode Island, did I know you played a championship game at the Ryan Center of basketball. I know you've probably been to Meade Stadium a number of times, but growing up, were you more of a Providence fan, or did you kind of, come to Kingston, for some tournaments and championships and stuff like that?
Nah, I was more of a Providence fan just because it's right there. And then when David Duke had went to Providence from classical, so I was a Providence fan. I didn't really like. I was thought about URI, but like it wasn't really a thought for me until like I was a junior.
Right.
So like growing up, it was just like PC. I didn't really know about URI that much.
Hmm. I got you. Yeah, I feel like, when I interview student athletes who are, just from the state of Rhode Island, because we have a handful of them at, State University like URI. I feel like it's always, Providence fan. I'm from New York, so I love to ask, did you grow up a PC fan or URI fan? More
Yeah,
often than not, it's PC, but hopefully we can kind of flip that, going forward or in the future. But it's tough going up against those P5 schools. But
yeah.
I want to move on to your senior year at Classical, a senior in football specifically. Just to read off some of your stats: 55 catches for 1,024 yards, 8 touchdowns. You led Classical to a Division II state championship that year. Also brought home the Rhode Island Gatorade Player of the Year award. What do you remember from that season? And can you just share what it meant to, rack in those accolades and just accomplish all that you did in that year?
That season, that was probably my favorite season in high school, just because the way it started and the way it ended. Like at the start, our second game of the season was like hectic. Like we wasn't supposed to lose until like game 6 or whatever,
Hmm.
and we had lost the second game of the season. Like me and the coach was butting heads. Like it was all over the place. And then towards the end of the season, like our team, like it was one of those teams that just hung out because they're on the same team. Like we was actually like all boys. Like we hung out all the time, before school, after school, during practice. There were some people in our group that weren't even on the football team, still waiting for us to get out of practice just to hang out. So I feel like us being like so close and together, like that's what made that season so special. And then to go on top after what had happened the season before, it was a great feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, playing basketball and having that knowledge, and then obviously the football background that you have, it sounds like, you love being a part of team sports. It sounds like you want to be a leader. And it sounds like, even though, you had your individual performance, which was obviously, stood out amongst the entire state, to win an award like that. It still felt like it was more of a team award, kind of bringing in that championship. I'm sure it was a good feeling, not only on just you, but, the rest of the team and the coaching staff and everyone like that.
Yeah, I'm a team through and through. I'm a team guy. No matter the stats, like I could be upset at myself about stats. At the end of the day, if we win and my teammates are doing well, like it's great to me. Like playing basketball, I was the point guard. I love getting everybody involved because I just like seeing everybody do so good.
Right.
And then during football, it's like in the championship game, I was more of a decoy more than anything. Like, yeah, I got some stats, but I was more of a decoy more than anything just because, like, that's the role I knew I had to play going into that game. And I don't mind it because it's like, if I can get someone else open to score and we can win, then so be it. So, me,
Right.
I'm just a team guy. Whatever I got to do to win, like, I'll do it.
Yeah, I think again a great quality, and I'm sure URI and the coaching staff loves to have that in you. Moving on, following high school, you did commit to URI to coach Jim Fleming. Coming to this program, you mentioned you grew up in Providence. Obviously, they don't have a football team, but grew up a PC fan, had some knowledge about some of the other sports and other universities there at Division I level. But what went into the decision to come to URI? Why did you choose URI in the end?
Uh, I'm just a hometown guy. They believed in me first. So I mean, and also I built a connection with Coach Flan. He was the one he was my recruiting coach. So we just built a connection instantly. Like when I went on the official visit, it was just like it was easy to communicate with him. So I was like, this is a no brainer for me, really.
Yeah, it must be nice. I'm curious as a Rhode Islander wearing Rhode Island across your chest every game. How does that feel, to represent your home state?
It's a great feeling because I know like the things I can do to put this state on the map and being from the smallest state. So that's really my goal is to really make this team blow up as much as possible. So everybody knows like URI is one of those teams that can be a powerhouse going down the line.
Yeah, we're getting closer every year to accomplishing that and getting over the hump and really, being put on the map over the last few years. I think this coaching staff and Coach Fleming has done such a great job at, just consecutive winning seasons since 2020. I know we only had 3 games in 2020, but
Yeah.
since then, just consecutive winning seasons, which I think is, something that's just great for this program. And I'm sure it'll feel really nice to wear Rhode Island across your chest too, when you play the Governor's Cup in 3 weeks against Brown.
Yeah. It's gonna be that's a little homecoming game, but it's a few weeks down the road. Hopefully, we can be undefeated still by then. That's the goal. So
Right.
we haven't lost a Brown in 4 years, so we just got to keep it going.
Yeah, like I said, I just graduated and I don't remember ever losing to Brown, which is, just something great again for the state of Rhode Island, smallest state. Now, Bryant, almost a little bit of a rivalry coming up there with them joining the conference, I believe, next season. And
Yeah.
obviously you're facing them in 2 weeks.
So Brian's gonna be. I mean, it was physical last year. We didn't do as well as we should have, but we're hopeful to put an end to that rivalry. Everyone keeps saying to just be dominant and just run the state of Rhode Island.
Yeah, absolutely. And just have so much pride again to take both of those games. It's, I'm sure one that the coaching staff and circle on the schedule when it comes out. But I want to move along to this season and so far just the 3 games that you've played going game by game. So because you redshirted last season, I'm just curious. So this year, you had the opportunity to start, kind of fill in after a couple of guys graduate. Obviously, you're playing more snaps than you might be used to ever playing in your career, even at the high school level. Was that something you prepared for in the off season? Did you talk to the coaching staff with that during training camp? Did you really know that you'd be taking, this kind of next step forward and play more snaps?
And off season, I was just preparing myself to get ready to play. Like I knew, like this year, like all right, because we got a new position coach, so everyone had a clean slate. So it was like, all right, like I can just show them what I got. And going into training camp, I just kept hearing like you're right there, but we need you to break through. So when I got my opportunity in the first game, it was like I know what I can do on the field if I'm on the field. Like yeah, practice sometimes I might be bad, but when it's game time, like it's ready, I'm ready to go. So when I got that first catch, that was just me playing football. Like I'm not thinking about nothing else but playing football.
Yeah, and I want to move on. That's my next question is about that Georgia State game. It's your debut at the collegiate level, obviously on the road, but the third quarter, you get that 28-yard pass from Kasim Hill, first career touchdown. I'm sure that felt amazing for you. And then I actually want to talk about the fourth quarter as well. You had the 73-yard reception, just an impressive debut for you all around. Can you just talk about that individual performance for you? Obviously a tough loss. It's tough to start out 0-1 or yeah, 0-1 and start out in the losing column, but just for you individually, it must have felt nice to walk away with, those highlights.
Yeah, it felt good, finally get into that first collegiate game. I went in there thinking I was like, all right, I'm gonna get in. Hopefully I get a target or two, maybe get a catch. I was not thinking a touchdown, but
Yeah.
when he threw me the ball and I seen the grass, I was like, I'm just gonna take it. Like I'm just gonna play football. And then the 70-yarder, that's just me trusting the scheme and trusting my speed and Kasim putting his faith in me to put the ball out there and go get it. So that game gave me a lot of confidence going forward because I was like, all right, like I can do this. Like I'm at the college level. Like I'm here for a reason.
Yeah, it's kind of remarkable to see. I was looking at your stat line, and obviously, Katero Summers being the prime target, and then Darius Savage, but you only having 4 receptions, so far through 3 games. But you wouldn't even believe it with the amount of yards that you have. Obviously, 2 touchdowns, which is tied for the most with both of Savage and Summers as well, having 2 touchdowns on the season. It's just remarkable to see how Kasim Hill, shares the ball and how he's able to kind of, use it in so many different directions, and especially within the passing game. To see you have that first game was just pretty impressive. Only on 2 receptions, you get your first career touchdown and a 70-yarder, which was going to be a touchdown. You were tackled in the red zone. Like I really thought that was going to be another touchdown, but just an impressive game all around for you. Moving on to the following week after that, you're home against Stony Brook. That should be a win, and obviously it was for you guys. You followed that up with another 70-yard reception, this time for a touchdown, which was great. You ran, I saw the highlight of that. You ran a great route on that. It looked like you kind of split the middle. Maybe it was on
Yeah.
a slant or something, split the defenders, cutting over, and then kind of got over to the sideline for the touchdown. What can you tell me specifically about that play and just that game in general?
I knew that was a play we was just working on all week. Specifically, I was surprised when he called it for me in the game. So I just ran my little out and up, and once I seen the middle of the field open up, I was like, I just got to take it. And then I seen him running from the corner of my eye, so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna angle for this pylon and get in the end zone. Hopefully, not get caught this week.
Yeah, absolutely. That was pretty cool, especially to see you, as a deep threat. Especially, I mean, I think that came in the second quarter. So I think we were up, I want to say it was 14-7. That score made it 21-7. So he didn't even need to go deep in that moment. It wasn't like the game was on the line or anything, but just to kind of show that off in game and to kind of see, your speed and obviously what you can do on some of those routes. Specifically, that play was extremely impressive. And then finally, this past week, only one reception for you against Maine for 11 yards. But overall, like I said, it was a great team win. You haven't beat Maine on the road since 98. And another game where the offense put up over 30 points. So it just goes to show you how good this offense is and how good Kasim Hill is again at sharing the ball. Can you just talk about specifically your chemistry with Kasim? And also just how crucial is it to have him back for another season to kind of command this offense?
Yeah, me and Kasim really picked it up like more towards the end of camp, getting towards Georgia State when we figured out like who's gonna be in the rotation. That's when the chemistry really picked up. But I knew he likes taking shots. Like even like going throughout last year, I tried to figure out on certain routes where is he gonna place the ball, where does he want me, so I can run that route to where he wants me to run it. And having him back is just like he's a veteran guy. He's been in this offense for this is his fourth year now, so he knows it better than anyone. So of course, like if I got a question of where he wants me to go, I'm gonna ask him just so to get there so he can give me the ball. So as the season goes on, the chemistry is just gonna keep growing and just keep doing big things. Not really this past weekend, one of my teammates told me that every week could be a big week, and I was like, you're right. So just gotta move on to the next one.
Absolutely. And I feel like with Kasim specifically, just staying on that topic for a minute, I feel like when he has a target, I mean, he loves to hit that target. So when you talk about the chemistry just growing, it's so young in the season too, only 3 games in, week 4 being this week. I mean, I just feel like that chemistry is going to grow over time. And, I just feel like it's going to make you, a better wide receiver, a better player in the end. Especially working with a quarterback like that. I mean, the quarterback wide receiver duo is so important in football. So just to kind of see that chemistry that you guys already have 3 games in, I hope we can do another interview like this at the end of the season and just kind of talk and compare each game again. Just a little bit about, how that chemistry has grown over time with the quarterback and just as an offense. But that's really cool to see. Just 2 more questions for you, but what's been the best part about all of this? I mean, obviously, again, you're a starter, you're getting the minutes, you're getting the playing time. What has been the best part about, just I know it's early in the season, but what has been the best part about playing for URI and just getting these opportunities?
Just playing again. It's been over a year since I last played a snap, so it was just, and I know the offense, really throwing the ball. So my OC likes to put up points, so it's like just being out there, running around on the field, getting targets or not. Like it's just fun being out there because I ain't been out there in so long. So
Right.
it's just been I just been enjoying the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you have to, just kind of take every moment, or you can't take every moment for granted and you just have to be appreciative, for the situation that you're in. And, everyone is fighting for a chance, as a team, working so hard for these wins, but everyone's fighting for a chance in training camp to even just get on the team and well, to get opportunities on the team and to get that playing time. So for you to, have earned that 3 games in, basically as a freshman, it's just really impressive to see. And, I wish you the best of luck. Lastly, Marquis, the program has made the FCS playoffs since 1985. Or they haven't made the FCS playoffs since 1985. Each year, we've gotten, just a step closer to getting that bid, getting over that hump, like we talked about. Why is this the year for URI, and what makes this team different than any other team?
We just have the experience. We got a lot of seniors. Offensively, we got everyone basically came back. We lost Ed Lee and Marcus DeShields in the backfield, but everyone else has pretty much come back. So we just had one more year under our belt to get that chemistry going. And, we just got so many leaders and seniors speaking up about the opportunity that's right there in front of us. And Coach Fleming speaking up about the opportunity that's right there in front of us. And we're just trying to see the opportunity. We're so hungry to get to the playoffs and show the country what we can do in the playoffs. So we're just each game we're just fighting harder and harder because we know each game is crucial from here on out.
Yeah, just taking it game by game. Couple more, I guess, like rapid fire questions for you, just just kind of end this thing off. But so far, do you have a best memory? I can imagine it's probably been that first touchdown. Did you get to keep the ball? Like, what was that like? Was it the first memory for you? You're welcome to Division I, football.
Definitely the catch, and the adrenaline was so high after I scored in the end zone. Like it was just so surreal. Like going to the sidelines, like everyone's jumping on you, like everyone's just congratulating you, and it's just like a surreal moment. It's like I've scored before, but it's like it's been so long. And first catch, sadly we don't get to keep the ball, but it's a memory I won't forget. So
Sure. And it's on film too, so you can always go back and watch it. So that's awesome. Two more for you that I'm just thinking of right now. Obviously just playing football, it's again to be in this situation. Do you have a favorite player that you kind of model your game after, someone you grew up and you try and compare yourself to on and off the field?
it was originally it was Kelvin Johnson originally, just because I was a big receiver, and then when Odell came in the league, like that's pretty much what I've been modeling my game from. Like just trying to learn every spot inside out, and not just be an outside guy. So probably either Kelvin Johnson or Odell, one of those two.
Got you. And then last question. I mean, you're kind of already shown the fans what you can do, but what do you have to, what is your last message for the fans who might be watching this video? What can you tell them about yourself? What can they expect again from this team? You kind of already answered that. And, just leave it out there. What are the fans looking forward to seeing? What's the ultimate goal? Obviously it's to win a championship and to get back to the playoffs, but tell us a little bit about, what they can expect and, why they should remember your name.
I'm just scratching the surface. 3 games in,
Yeah.
very limited targets, but I know there's gonna be a game where the target count's gonna be high and everyone's gonna see like there's no way he's a freshman. So I'm just waiting for the opportunity, taking advantage of the opportunities given to me, and just staying patient with the process.
Yeah. Well, you've already made that immediate impact. And, obviously the fans and supporters of the program are going to continue to support you and remember your name. There it is right there. I appreciate it. Don't sleep on Rhode Island football. Promise you, fingers crossed. I know this is the year. Marquis, best of luck going forward. We're all rooting for you. And of course, go Rhody.
Well, Rhody, thank you.
Thank you.